Episode 6, Party Animals. And it's the Icon back with an episode 6 review for My Adventures of Superman. And before we get started, hit that notification bell, like and or subscribe, check out my other reviews for My Adventures of Superman, and let's get started. So this episode starts, it actually takes place a month after Clark got his ass whooped by Cyborg Superman. And we didn't get anything, they didn't tell us anything about the future situation with Superboy. But Clark is basically trying to adjust now because it's been a month and he still doesn't have his powers. So there's an award ceremony for reporters and journalists and everything. Everybody got invited to this award ceremony because Jimmy and Lois were nominated for an award. Clark was not nominated for any awards, and he's in his feelings because he feels like he's useless not being Superman. Kara has been taking the reins for a while. She's been saving the people and saving the public, and Clark is trying to find his place now because he doesn't have his powers. Supergirl shows up at the award ceremony because they gave Supergirl and Superman an award for saving the city, but Clark couldn't be there to accept it because he doesn't have his powers. So now, but the thing is, Jimmy, for whatever reason, and I'm glad this is kind of over now, Jimmy invited a date because he's still on that Worms app and he was contractually obligated to go on one more date. So they gave him a date for the award ceremony, which put Kara in her feelings because Kara was just like, because Kara's whole thing is, I'm getting an award today and you brought a date to the event where I'm getting an award. Jimmy basically still playing it off. He's still playing dumb. When they meet his date is actually the princess of Markovia. And that actually made Kara feel some kind of way. Cat Grant was there. Vicky Vale was there. Vicky Vale comes back, and then her and Lois get into their little thing where she's just like, I'm going to win the award, Lois. And Lois was like, I'm going to win the award. So she got her own thing going on. And like I said, Superman is basically trying to figure out his place in the world. We got a cameo from, I'm assuming the caveman Superman is Bizarro. Like, I'm assuming he is Bizarro, or he's eventually going to be Bizarro. But the Bizarro Superman, the caveman Superman that had like the weird pet, he's been in the city, which is weird because he was nowhere to be seen when Cyborg Superman was terrorizing Metropolis. But he's working for an ice cream shop, and I guess like his mind is coming together now. He can talk to people, he can form sentences. He was talking to children, but he's there at the award ceremony because he's selling ice cream. And then he overheard that Superman wasn't going to be there, so he decided to put his Superman costume on and I guess basically stand in for the Man of Steel. The princess of Markovia is basically trying to make Supergirl jealous by, overly, like being all over Jimmy. And then Clark ends up investigating, like the town hall because those detective children that popped up in season 1, they were there as well. And because Clark doesn't have superpowers, his job was basically to watch the kids. He lost the kids, and then when he went to go find the kids, come to find out, like, there was an infiltration, like the security detail got infiltrated, and it was full of these guys with these big guns, and basically everybody was basically there to kidnap the princess. So the kids found out about it. Clark tried to protect the kids. He got shot in the arm because he doesn't have any superpowers, but he did protect the children. Lois ended up finding him, and then Lois, Superman, and the kids, they were running from like these guys. And then when the princess got on the podium to speak on behalf, of her country, come to find out the princess of Markovia, she actually hired all those people to infiltrate because those goons work for her. The princess is the bad guy because she's secretly Dr. Poison. And I was like, well, that was interesting because we didn't get Dr. Poison. And like I haven't heard Dr. Poison's name since the first Wonder Woman movie. So she's Dr. Poison. She created this poison gas that turns people into animals. So Jimmy was immediately freaking out because he's like, I'd already been here because he's like, I don't want to be a wolf again. But it turned him into a turtle. Lois got turned into a cat, which I thought was funny. Supergirl's attempting to defeat Dr. Poison, but then she said, my goons are also at the Metropolis Dam. So she was like, you can't save the city from the dam and then take me down at the same time. So Jimmy told her, he was like, you go save the city, like I'll take care of Dr. Poison. And then Jimmy actually did a good job because he charmed her into taking off her mask, and then she ended up turning into an animal too because she breathed in her own poison. Supergirl went down to the dam. She stopped the dam from being exploded, but then when Dr. Poison and her goons were about to, get away when they were at the museum, Bizarro showed up and he stopped them from getting away. He tied all of them up and he gave them to Kara. So Kara's whole thing was like, so who did that? She was like, Clark isn't here, somebody helped. But she never said anything to like Lois, Superman, or Jimmy. Like, she didn't tell them that. but because at this point everybody's just assuming that Kara was the one, you know, like that kid that, you know, that stopped everybody. And then after that, you know, Dr. Poison saw Jimmy, and then she was just like, I know I tried to take over the world, Jimmy, but you know, like, but I have feelings for you. And then he was like, no, because I'm in love with Kara Zor-El or whatever. And then Kara overheard that, and then that's when Kara basically was like, look, bro, she's like, what the fuck you been doing? She was like, you said that you loved me, you said that you got feelings for me. I legitimately tried to be with you like in episode 1, and you told me no and told me to see other people. Now you're confessing your love. And then Jimmy was just like, oh, but I thought you weren't interested with me. And I was like, that was dumb, because there's nothing Jimmy can say in that moment. Like, Jimmy can't be like, oh, I thought you moved on, or I thought you lost interest. Like, all that's null and void, because she told you in episode 1 that she actually wanted to be with you. Just say you're sorry, you were being a dumbass, and let's move on. Let's move on. Because Kara now doesn't seem like she's into him the way she was before, because she just got upset that he was playing games. And then Superman was talking to Lois, and then he was just like, yo, Lois, I didn't do shit. And then she was like, what do you mean? And he was like, you saved the kids, Jimmy stopped Dr. Poison, and Kara saved the city. See, but my whole thing is, if Lois saved the kids, and if Jimmy stopped Dr. Poison, for Clark to be like, oh, what's my value? I don't have value. I don't have value. I'm like, bro, your best friends don't have superpowers, and they still save the day. The problem is, you think your superpowers define who you are as a person, and you can't do anything without them. He needs to learn how to save the day as Clark Kent, and then it's like he took a bullet for the kids. I'm like, bro, like, you got shot for a bunch of children. So I'm like, it doesn't get any more super than that. But then, like I said, he even got mad and like yelled at Lois. He was just like, I'm nobody, Lois. And then when that happened, the floor opened up, and like some pink light came on the floor, and then Lois and Clark fell through the floor, and then Jimmy and Supergirl fell through the floor. That was how that episode ended, and thank you for tuning in. Lois did win the award, by the way, so she's better than Vicky Vale. But so yeah, I don't know what's going. So unless they're getting sucked into the future, I have no idea what's going on with that, but share your questions, comments, and concerns. Let me know what you think is going to happen in episode 7 of my adventures with Superman and Lois and Jimmy and Supergirl. So check out my other reviews. Check me out on TikTok. Check me out on Instagram. Check me out on YouTube. And I look forward to bringing you, this was 6, so I look forward to bringing you episode 7, 8, 9, and 10 as we conclude my adventures of Superman. So that was it, guys. So thanks for tuning in. So until next time, I'm up and away as always. And until then, grab this.